Howdy y'all, it's Jordan Smith. We are out here at the Monarch Woods build and it is looking fantastic. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the structure and the ceiling / roof decking of the structure. So we have steel in this building, and that is because we have so much glass over on this other side that there's no way to make this building not rack and fall over if we didn't have steel and our strong brace frames in the corners. So when we added the steel, we went ahead and made an expose and express. So this beam behind me here will be exposed all the way across the great room. And we wanted it to really play nicely with the ceiling. And the ceiling is this beautiful clear Doug fir. So Doug fir, just like all woods, comes in a lot of different grades. There's everything from just your number 2 and better up through a vertical grain clear. It gets very, very expensive when you start getting rid of the knots, because when you make a big board like this and you say you can't have any knots in it and it has to be long too, there's only so much of the wood, very small amount of the wood, that will actually have those characteristics. So when you say clear, you drastically increase the price of the ceiling. If you say vertical grain, like this guy right here is almost gets vertical, and some of these down here you can see are vertical. That's when the grains are running along the length of the board. If you only did vertical grain Doug fir, which is what you hear all the time in architectural circles, oh, we're doing vertical grain Doug fir, we're doing vertical grain Doug fir. If you specified that, now you're only getting a tiny fraction of the amount of wood harvested every year as wood that you can use for your ceiling. So we decided to hit the upper middle. We went with a clear Doug fir ceiling. Now this is not a facade. This isn't something that we're applying to a structure. This is actually our structure. So this is an 1.5 inch tongue and groove Doug fir, and we're putting it up here as the ceiling. So we'll see this when the whole building is finished. We'll have our Doug fir beams. These are Roseboro 5.5 by 18 beams that the Doug fir 1.5 inch tongue and groove sits on top of. And that is all of our structure. So this is both structural and architectural. You'll be able to see this, and you'll be able to see this as well. This is our roof decking. Now up on top of this roof decking, now we have to do all of the tricky stuff like waterproof and insulate. So on top of this, we're going to have a ice and water shield that will be applied across the whole surface. Then we're going to be doing several layers of rock wool. Then we'll be doing another layer of plywood to have a substrate for our roofing, our metal roofing that goes on top. And then on top of the plywood, we're going to do another ice and water shield, and then our metal roofing on top of that screwed back into the plywood. So it's a multi-layer sandwich, but what it gives us the ability to do is we're going to have a super thin roof structure that's hanging out a really long way. Here on this front porch here, we've got 15 foot of cantilevered overhang. These guys right here cantilever out 15 foot. And that's why you see as it runs over this beam here, this is a mid-span beam, these rest on top, they're not broken. We couldn't get that big cantilever on this backside if we broke these here and tried to attach them to this. They run from the front of the building all the way to the back. They came in at 60 feet long, and then we cut them back to more of a modest 56 foot long, and then we added some more overhang on top of that. And I'll show you in another video how we did an overhang beyond the beams and then made all of the framing disappear in that really thin roof structure. I know it's a quick one today. We're trying to get back on the road. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any more comments, put them in the questions below. Let me know what you think about the build. Post other inspirations if you want to. Go follow us over at Instagram, wherever else you waste your time on social media. And we'll see you next time on Smith House.